Hi and welcome to Foundations 10 with Miss Verity. Today we're going to be looking at 1.1 Imperial units. So many units of the imperial system are based on the human body. We've got inches, which is kind of like your thumb length, foot, which is like a foot length, a yard, which is about an arm span, and a mile, which is approximately about a distance walked in 20 minutes. You can use the this chart at the top, or there will also be a formula sheet attached for this section of the notes, and it will have all the conversions you'll need on it as well. So just like in Workplace 10, we are going to convert the following. We're going to start off by using proportions. So let me find my calculator here. So yards to feet. Well, I have 7 yards, and I want to know how many feet. Well, I can say, well, I want my units to match up. There are 3 feet in 1 yard. I don't know if yard is YRD or just YD, who knows. Notice, so I've got yards on the top and yards there, feet in the bottom, feet there. So that's one way to set it up. You could also set it up like X feet over 3 feet equals 7 yards over 1 yard, and have yards and yards and feet on the same side, but knowing that it's like this is what you're given and what you're looking for, and the bottom part is your conversion factor. But when we are solving things, we want to, so if we're looking for X, we want to multiply the pair, divide by the spare, and so that's going to be 21 feet. So everything's going to have units. That's what we want to use. So we want to convert yards to inches. So another way you can also set up your proportion. So the first way, if we have 7 yards and I want to know how many inches that is, I could say, okay, well, I know that there are 36 inches in 1 yard. So multiply the pair, divide by the spare. We get X is equal to 252. Let me just double check that. Yes, 252, and my units are inches. We could also have set it up as, if I have another way, actually just kidding. I'll show you that later because, yeah. Okay, now I want it split into feet and inches. So I'm going to start off by figuring out, I want my biggest unit. How many of my biggest unit go into this? So I've got 62 inches. Well, how many feet is that? There is 12 inches in 1 foot. So multiply the pair, divide by the spare. This gives me 5.1667. This is feet. So what this is telling me is 5 full feet go into it and a bunch of leftovers. So there's 5 full feet. Well, now I'm going to take that, and to figure out how many inches I have left, there's kind of 2 ways I can do this. I can either say I had 5 feet. Well, in every foot there is 12 inches. So that's 60 inches that I've used up by talking about that 5 feet. Well, I had 62, I used up 60, so there is 2 inches left. The other way, let me quickly check. That would be, I can also say I have 0.1667 feet left over. Well, how many inches is that? Well, I know in 1 foot there is 12 inches. If I multiply the pair, divide by the spare, I get X is equal to 2.0004. So that's basically just 2 inches at that point. Yeah, that's that one. So example C, 100 inches, we're going to put that into feet and inches. So in my 100 inches, how many feet? Well, I know my units have to match up. There is 12 inches in 1 foot. That is our conversion factor. So Again, multiply the pair, divide by the spare. We get 8.333. So 8 full feet went into it. So I could figure out, okay, well, there's 8 feet. Every 8 feet is 12 inches. So I've used up 96 of my inches so far. So 100 minus 96 is equal to 4. So there's 4 inches left over. Again, the other way you could do it is 0.333 feet. How many inches is that? When my units match up, I know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. Multiply the pair, divide by the spare. 0.333 times 12 is 3.996. That's basically 4. Oh, surprise. Basically 4. Let's do, we're going to skip D. We're going to go to E. So inches, yards, and feet. So our first thing we want to do is we want to figure out how many of our units go into the biggest unit. So 70 inches is how many yards? We always want to put it into the biggest units first. My inches, my yards, there's 36 inches in 1 yard. Multiply the pair, divide by the spare. We get 1.944. Lots of 4s. So that's telling us 1 full yard went in. So either you can take your 0.9994 left over, or you could say, I had 7, nope. Well, kind of, yes, but we know that 1 yard is 36 inches. So we had 70 inches minus those 36 inches that come from what we already used up. We already used up that 1. So in total, we have 34 inches left over. Well, now we want to take what our leftovers are and go to our next biggest unit. So I have 34 inches. I want to know how many feet. In 1 foot, there is 12 inches. Multiply the pair, divide by the spare. So 34 divided by 12 is 2.8333 infinite 3s. So this is saying we have 2 full feet in there. Well, 2 full feet, 2 feet, there's 12 inches in a foot. I've used up 24 of them now. So I had 34 inches left over. I've now used up another 24, and that leaves me with 10 inches. And so last but not least, I can say, well, there is 10 inches. So 70 inches is 1 yard, 2 feet, and 10 inches total. Okay, example 2. George buys baseboard for a bedroom. The perimeter of the bedroom, excluding closets and doorways, is 42 feet. So remember, perimeter is where you add up all the outsides, and that is going to be equal to 42. What length of baseboard is needed in yards and feet? So when it's saying in yards and feet, that's not put it into yards and then separately put it into feet. That's similar to up here. It would be like feet and inches. It would be yards and feet is what we're doing. Okay, so he has 42 feet. Ooh. We want to put that into our bigger unit first. So that's going to be how many yards? There is 3 feet in 1 yard. Multiply the pair, divide by the spare. We get 42 divided by 3. Is 14 yards. And because that went in completely, would be 14 yards, and there is 0 left over, so there's 0 feet left over. The baseboard material is sold by yard. It costs $6.75 per yard. What is the cost of materials before taxes? So we want to buy 14 yards of that. I'm going to put some units in here because I like units. So 14 yards, and it costs $6.75 per yard. So to know that our units cancel out when we multiply them, yards, we'd end up with yards over yards, which reduces to equal 1. So that would just give us our money amount, and that happens to be $94.50. So therefore, it would cost $94.50 for all the materials. Sam has 5.5 yards of cord to make a friendship bracelet, or to make friendship bracelets. Each bracelet needs 8 inches of cord. So how many bracelets can Sam make? I'm going to show this in a different way. So he has 5.5 yards. I'm going to do something called unit. Oh, actually, we're just going to do it as B. So use unit analysis. This is something you will have to do, because unit analysis is one of our outcomes or indicators that you need to show. Okay, so he's 5.5 yards. But we only know bracelets in terms of inches. So let's convert that to inches. So this is what I call time sign straight line. We did this in Science 10. We know that we're in yards. So in order to get rid of them, we need to put them on the bottom. And we want to go to inches. We know that there's 36 inches in 1 yard. So now we're in inches, but we know we want to go essentially to bracelets. So inches to bracelets. So we were in inches, we want to get rid of them, so we're going to put them in the opposite spot. We know for every 1 bracelet, we need 8 inches of cord. So in my calculator, I'm going to have 5.5 times 36 times 1 divided by 1 times 8. So 5.5 times 36 times 1 divided by 1 times 8 is 24.75. So if we were going to say how many bracelets they can actually make, well, you can make 24 bracelets. You don't have quite enough to make 25. So that's our unit analysis. We're going to skip that one. Excellent. That might not specifically be your assignment. I will post that.